Okay, so this is the video about the Christmas pattern. And what I like to do, this is just something that I like to do. You don't have to do it, but I like it because, you know, this fabric always shines a bit through. And I like to put another cloth on the bottom. And then I like to put my fabric over it. And then I'm just gonna position it nicely. And I'm gonna put my ring over it. I'm sorry I'm in this super weird position because my trusted tripod didn't work. And then you make sure that you pull really good. And make sure it's really tight. Are we in shot? Are we focusing? We are focusing. Okay. Make sure it's really, really tight. So now we're gonna first start at the bottom. And we're gonna go in right at the bottom there. And I already made some mistakes, so I had to go in again, but you see already some holes. And you're just gonna put your finger on this. And then I'm gonna go up and still put my finger on it. And I'm gonna go back into that hole. And now you can let go of your finger. And you can cut this off if you want. I'm not gonna do that. I like to keep it really messy. And you just concede. Concede? Is that a word in English? And you just, you know, you're just going to proceed. You're going to proceed doing this method. Proceed. That's the word. And the same we're going to do also for here. We're going in here. And we're just going to do this all the way around. Going back into the other stitch. And this is how we're going to make the line. And we're just going to leave that little middle line for the end after we've done this line. Back in the line again. And here we can just go from, oh, we need to be careful that you don't distort the line. sure it's tight. And that's how you're also going to do the other line. And then we're going to proceed into the pink. We're going over to the pink, and first what we want to do is we really want to go in and make these lines because they're really tiny. And we're using 2 threads. And we're just going to go from one side to the other side. And now we are going to start here. We're going in and we're just making lines. Same as we did here. So we're just going in from this side. And what I like to do is I'm just making lines. Oh, indie. Same goes to here. Just make little stitches. And here we are going from here to here. And we're just going to see here now, you can see that here is like fabric that you can see. And I'm just going to fill that up here. Going back. I'm just going to make stitches over and over again. Sometimes a bit longer. Sometimes a bit shorter. Then I'm going to fill this whole space up with thread. To be honest, it doesn't matter how you want to fill this space up. You can have your own method for it, but this is how I like to do it. I'm just making lines, stitches over and over again next to each other and then over each other. Putting them in the other stitch. And now we have, you can see on your printed fabric that we have this small little line of pink. And we're just gonna carefully, so look closely. And we're gonna make this. Again, 2 strands. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over this green part. Because I know where it is and it's easier to get over it than to embroider around it. Again, we're using 2 strands and we are just going to do the same thing for this line. So now we're going over to the bow and we're using 2 strands. We're just going to go and follow the lines. Same goes for here. We're just gonna follow lines, and here you can just make one stitch going to the middle. And then with the bow, we're gonna do exactly the same thing. Just gonna make a little stitch here because we have a little curve. And there we have the bow. And now we're gonna go over this one. And we're all using the same color for here. And first what we're gonna do, we're gonna use 3 strands. And we are going to make these ones. And we're just gonna use 1 stitch from the out to the inside. And with 3 strands. Don't worry too much about if you're going too far in here. Like you can see here that you're going too far in, because you won't see that anymore, because we're gonna cover up this line. And we're gonna do that all the way. All those pines, we're just gonna go up, down, up, down. So now all the branches are done, and now I'm just gonna first start here and just fill out all those lines. And then I'm going back, and you just go from branch to branch and just make your way out and just fill out those branches. Make one straight line. And that's what we're going to do all around. I like to go into the other stitch. And that's how we're going to follow all those lines. And I'll be back at you when we're going to do the middle line, because that's the one we're going to do last. This is all done. We're going to go and do this part. And remember that I went over it with my thread. So I'm now going to go over it with my thread. And make that till there. And then we are going to cover this line. And you really want to go into the other thread for this line, because that makes the thread a bit thicker, widens it out, because you really want to cover all the fabric markings. And we're going to make our way up. Trying to get really in the middle with my needle. And the last stitch. So now we're going to go over to the star, and we're going to use 2 threads. What I like to do is I go in, and I'm first going to outline the star. With my 2 strands, I'm just going to go from one side to the other side. Okay, so now I've done all these sides, and what I like to do is I start in the middle, and I like to just go and work my way to all the points. And here too. I think that gives a cute effect. And it really like is a star. If we all go to that middle point. Here too. And then I like to go from here to the middle. And I'm just going to go everywhere where there's still space that needs to be filled. And I'm going to go from there all the way to the middle. So, and now you really have like a star. Just going back and forth. So now we are done. And to finish it off, what you can do is just cut all of these bits and pieces. Cut this nice and round and just put normal Pritt stick glue on it, and you're just gonna glue it back down. Thank you so much for watching this video, and double thanks if you bought my kit. I hope you enjoyed it.